well, we're still on a sort of like monetary sort of policy aside, is the inflation outlook. And you see the core, you've mentioned the core inflation earlier, and the headline diverging. Do you want to sort of like take us through that on a sort of like top line basis to begin with?
Yeah, at the top line, you're seeing a few interesting things kind of unfold. So on one hand, you're seeing, I think, a lot of deflationary forces coming from AI, which is increasing productivity. That we expect that to kind of continue. So that's kind of continue to kind of help reduce services inflation, which is what we've seen in the data. At the same time, the categories that are going to be most impacted by tariffs are going to face pricing pressures. So that's where you're going to see that divergence that we're talking about. That's going to create this like tug of war
Interesting.
relationship.
Yeah.
Um, Now, so I would say, keep an eye on those categories. We get the import price index every month. That's an interesting data point just because that excludes tariffs. So
Okay.
theoretically, if the cost of the tariff were to be bared by the exporting country, meaning the country that's exporting something to the US, they should be reducing their prices by the amount of the tariff. And what we've seen so far is that's not been the case. So in essence, basically a lot of the tariffs are being absorbed by the importers, aka the United States, and those will either be passed on to the consumers or they'll be eaten by the actual business or corporation, which would reduce margins. So we'll keep an eye on import prices. That's probably going to give us some lead on what's going to happen with those categories and inflation. But overall, from a portfolio standpoint, it's kind of like the same narrative from the monetary side, where we're seeing this to be a nice setup for assets, real assets. We talk about like anything from real estate or gold, but also mostly Bitcoin, which I think has the highest sensitivity to this type of trade.